Okay, so first of all, I want to commend you. I want to say congratulations and well done for being here, because so many people were called, but few are chosen, and you are here for a reason. So, as you know, my name is Queen. I'm an international motivation success coach, a singer, and I'm also a businesswoman. You know, I believe in entrepreneurialism and entrepreneurship, and I love the fact that I get to help young girls and women and amazing people from different parts of the world. I want to encourage you to please stay on to this call to the very end, because I really believe that you'll get so much out of it, number one, but also, I also believe that I have a special invitation for you that you might actually love a lot. So I really believe that breakthroughs happen when you're at the right place at the right time. Ideas will flood to your mind. And, you know, I'll just let you know quickly, one girl that came along to one of our workshops, you know, she wasn't getting the breakthrough when it came to the media. She wasn't able to break into the media and get press releases and magazine features and things like that. But, you know, attending the workshop, 10 days later, she actually was in 2 different newspapers. So I do believe that sometimes transformation can come, and it can come really quickly when you just allow yourself to be in that right place and allow yourself to get the coaching that you need, the mentoring to just sort of change your mind and give you that shift that you need. I'm going to show you a bit of me. This is me, if you can see me. Basically, my press is right in front of you. You can see, for example, here I am in the Essex Style magazine with this is my beauty queen girls and women. I'm on television here, Ben TV, and here in the Philippe Matthews show on his website, featured as one of his, basically he called it Philippe's Best, and so I was featured as one of the best. This is OK magazine that I featured in 2010. This is when I was trying to win Face of Europe in the Voice newspaper. This is me featured on School Speakers website, Team Speakers website, where I was featured as one of their speakers. Basically, this is me featured in the Voice newspaper online, and then this is me featured in Natural Sparkle magazine, which in fact, with the Natural Sparkle magazine, actually a cover. It was actually a cover where my name was on the cover, and then it was a 2-page spread. I'm waiting for the day that my face is on the cover, but for now I've had my picture on the cover. I mean, my name. And this is me on Dinner Date ITV. So, more of my press coverage. Similar types of things, but, you know, like just showing you a bit more of other, you know, press releases and so on and so forth. I've been on television quite a few times, over 150 now, because I am a TV presenter, so I get to go on TV a lot. But before, in the past, I was using the media to try and win beauty pageant events. I was trying to win pageants, but it didn't really end there, because I found that I was often invited to come onto shows to speak. For example, you can see me in the middle here, where I'm just actually on a TV channel called Faith TV, and I'm just talking about, you know, Christian issues and God and different things like that. So in a way, that show wasn't exactly the same as being a TV presenter. It was where I'm actually a guest speaker. So, you know, you can use the media in many ways to promote your business, to attract clients, to attract customers. You can use the media to promote yourself in terms of let the media know what you're doing, and so on and so forth. I'm going to quickly dive into I'm going to just dive down a little bit into my notes quickly, which I was meaning to go through this stuff a little bit later, but I'm going to do it now because I think it might be a bit useful. Before we dive right into step 1, I want to say to you, I want to squash a few myths, okay? So the first myth I want to squash right now is you don't have a celebrity to attract publicity. So this publicity that you want, you know, to be in magazines, newspapers, TV shows, radio, and so on and so forth, it is not just for celebrities. That's the first myth I want to squash, because I think you might be thinking, you know, I would love to have this happen to me, but am I really famous enough to be in a magazine or in a newspaper? And the answer is yes. And I'll tell you why later. Number 2 is you don't have to have over 10,000 fans to attract your first TV interview. So let's say you've never been on TV before, right? You don't have to wait till you have 10,000 fans, and you don't have to have like 1 million Instagram followers for you to be on TV. So you might be thinking, I can only make it big if I have this really, really big following on social media. That's a myth I want to bust for you right now. And then the third one is you don't have to have a singing or a modeling talent to break into the media. You know, some people think I can only be in the media if I am a singer or a model, or if I have this big talent of dance or something like that. But it's actually not true. You can actually still break into the media if you have other talents and skills. I'm going to tell you why later, so I'm going to save that for later. So how are you finding it? Did you ever think anything like that before? If you let me know in the comment box, or did you ever think, oh, this is just meant for certain people, or like, I could never really be in the media unless I'm, Beyonce's level or something like that, or maybe, I have to have this big crew and entourage and be worldwide famous. Let me know if you ever thought something like that before. Yes, I have thought about these myths before. Luckily, it's just a myth now. Woo! Yeah, exactly, Nebula. You're right. This is just a myth because the truth is you can be in the media and you can be in the media in amazing ways, and you can literally be in the media within a week's time. It can happen tomorrow. It can happen the day after. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the small ways that you can break into the media, the medium ways, and the very big ways. But let's do the steps right now. Okay, so step one, the first way for you to attract publicity for your business or for your personal brand. And what I mean by your personal brand is for you as a, I can have a business and my business can have publicity, but it doesn't mean I have publicity. So the thing is, you have to realize that you're two different people, even though like Richard Branson has Virgin, that's his brand, that's his business, but he has a personal brand. His personal brand is he's Richard Branson, and he has a brand around himself as Richard Branson. So you can get publicity for your brand and for yourself, not just for the business, but you can also get business. You can also attract media recognition for yourself. So the first thing I want to say to you is you need to really learn more about the media. The thing I did is I studied media studies, and basically that meant that I learned everything to do with the Hollywood industry, the Bollywood industry, the Nollywood industry, American cinema, British cinema, and basically the French cinema. And I kept learning all of these things, watching films such as the Hitchcock movies, and then watching, 1920s films, and then I would go and watch all these Hollywood films, and I would study books on things like globalization and world cities, and I learned so much about the media and mass media because of this. So what I want to say to you is you should read books, listen to podcast shows, watch shows, study popular culture along with high culture, because these are foundational pieces for you to move to that next level of success in the media. What happens is, John Rohn says that success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. So what I want to say to you is you have to attract this media. The media is not something that you necessarily have to. It's like a boyfriend. You can't force yourself onto a boyfriend. You can try and make him like you. You can try and make him love you. But it's something that you attract. You become the person that he just loves and he wants to spend lots of time with. Of course, you're going to do your teasing and chasing him a little bit, but he is the one that has to fall in love with you. You can't force him to fall in love with you. So you can't force the media to fall in love with you, but you can persuade them. You can, send them some. You can tease them. You can say, hey, look at my press release. Look at my website. Have you checked out my new video? You can tease the media, but in a very clean way. And you can promote yourself in front of them and promote yourself on social media and learn about the media so that you actually become a person that attracts the media. Just like a guy, you attract him into your life. You don't force yourself on him, you attract him. So I'm trying to teach you through this training how to become the person that just literally attracts the media as if it's like a magnet where the media comes to you, even though you are also going to them. You are also putting yourself in front of them. So basically, I like to call this a push and pull method. Some people just believe in pulling, attract. I also believe you have to push for success as well. Like there is a book called Push for Success, and I believe that you have to work hard and you have to be determined. You have to put yourself out there. If you look at journalists, they don't waste time. They're running out there for that, to get that picture of Kim Kardashian. They're running out there to get the picture of Beyonce or whoever it is that they want. But one thing is for certain, we definitely know that they also attract all these opportunities. They get phone calls, they get the emails. They're just invited to these places most of the time, especially the high profile, not necessarily just journalists, but if you think about all these people, like all these celebrities, they're invited. They don't waste time to invite them to all these glamorous, amazing events and everything like that. So I want to encourage you to do your own studying of the industry and to learn as much as possible, because it will really work in your favor. When you start learning things about, it could be even something like digital media, it could be something like I said, the Hollywood industry, the Bollywood, the Nollywood, spending time to go a little bit deeper. You know what's going to happen? Because you understand the media more, you now actually attract it more. You end up just meeting more of the right people. You know, when I basically used to do all this studying of media studies, all of a sudden it didn't take too long before I walked into a TV show. Well, I walked into the studios. I was invited through a friend, and it didn't take too long before they offered me a job. I literally got there on the day. They said, "Look, you look like someone that would be a good presenter." And I was like, "Me? I haven't come here for presenting." In my mind, I was thinking that. I was thinking, I didn't come here for presenting. I just came here to escort somebody. They wanted to have a meeting, and I just came to kind of back them up. And they're like, "No, you need to come back tomorrow. You know, could you come back tomorrow?" And I'm like, yes, I think I can. I'm like, what's going on right now? How have I all of a sudden been invited to do TV presenting, to host a show? What's going on? So basically, like I said, when you studied, then you basically become ready. So it just like a magnet, it just comes to you. You just find yourself at the right place at the right time. Okay, so another thing that I would say is that you need to have information on the news, current affairs, politics, you know, things about technology, and learn about the things that you really enjoy and that you find interesting. Keep up to date with these topics, because at any given moment, the media could ask you questions on these things. Let me give you an example. You might get this amazing interview with, let's say you're interviewed by Vogue magazine. I'm just giving you an example. Let's say they do a little feature on you. All of a sudden, they may ask you, you know, do you know, what's your opinion on something? Now, if you don't know anything about that thing, like let's say it's something it could be a red carpet event where Vogue are there doing they're doing a bit of interviewing people on the spot for the magazine or for whatever, but they might have a live component to it where they're filming live, because sometimes a lot of these magazines, newspapers, TV shows, they do a lot of backstage interviews as well for their blog, for their website, for YouTube, and for Snapchat and things like that. So they might ask you questions like, what do you think about the whole campaign that Donald Trump is putting together? Like, are you in favor of Donald Trump? Are you in favor of, you know, Hillary Clinton, or whatever it is they may ask you? And if you don't know anything about it, it's like, oh, great, we've just interviewed a complete, I don't want to use any bad words, but basically they'll just think, oh, she just doesn't know anything, does she? Or he doesn't know anything, he's not very intelligent. And they will read, and sometimes the media will have a field day with you. I mean, I've seen it happen before, where one celebrity, for example, was interviewed about one of the viruses that had cropped up, one of those horrible ones that came out. I think it was like last year or the year before. It wasn't that it came out last year or the year before, but it became a big thing. She didn't know what to say. She said the wrong things. She didn't even know what it was. And then the man made a joke of her. He was like, "Oh, it's wonderful, isn't it? It's good." And she was like, "Oh yeah, it's good, it's good." And it was just so embarrassing, because it was one of the most basic news. Everybody should know this news. Everybody should have known about that crisis, and she didn't know. And it was like, why are you a celebrity if you don't know common basic things? So I want to encourage you not to be the celebrity that doesn't really know anything, but be the celebrity that's in the know of different topics. And I'm going to give you a quick tip on how to handle the media if you don't know an answer to a question. You can say something like this: "Oh, that's such a good question that you're asking me. I would love to answer that question, but to be honest with you, we'll be here all day. So I definitely want to save that for next time. But, you know, I definitely think it's a very important issue that we should, you know, definitely cover." And then just keep it like that. So look for a way to sort of avoid the question. Or you can say to them, "You know what, that's such a good question. But you know, what I really would like to know is, I want to know, what do you think about it? Like, I really want to hear your view, because you know, I could talk about this all day, but I want to know your view." So that's the way to turn the interview around, turn it around on them, so that they might say a few things about it, and then you can kind of chip in. Aha, that's like this is how you sort of deal with the media and turn. That's why you notice in celebrities, they kind of turn the question back on them, or they'll keep quiet and they'll say, "You don't really want to answer this question, do you?" And then they'll say, "No." Okay, let's move on to the next one. And so this is another way you can kind of give them the silent treatment and make them think that you're not really keen to answer that question. But don't do that if it's something important. Like, don't give the silent treatment for something that's important. Only for like joke questions, like if they ask you things that you feel as inappropriate or irrelevant. But the other two ideas, you can use them for anything. Okay, so let me now dive into step number two. Okay, number two is all about you being an expert in your field. The question I want to ask you is, what are you known for? What is your special talent or gift? How can you position yourself as an expert in your field? So it's so important to be known for one thing, even though you can have many talents, like Jennifer Lopez has lots of talents. I actually have lots of talents, but it's important that they kind of think they know who you are. So you kind of need to make such a stamp on the industry, on the industry or in the industry that you're in. You need to be so good at least something, so good to the point that you are just like the golden person when it comes to that topic. So, for example, one thing that people know me for is beauty pageants. They know I've been a beauty queen. They know I organize beauty pageants. They know I have all these contestants. They know that I'm always making these videos. Like, this is just an obvious thing. So at least a media person could, let's say a TV host or a producer or a director, they can contact me and say, Queen, we want to talk to you about your beauty pageant. We know you're really into this beauty pageant. You've got all the blogs up, all the blog posts up. You've got the podcast show. You've got the YouTube videos. You've got the website. You're attending all these events. You're organizing. There's a lot going on there. It doesn't mean I have to just do one thing, because that's just, it's not my preference. It's not my desire to stick to doing one thing. But I've made that thing big enough to get a lot of attention with it, and a lot of interest comes from that area. So whatever you do, if you do want to dive into different areas, make sure that whatever you're doing is really big and great, at least in one area. The other ones should be more of the behind the scenes type of thing. Another thing you could do, if you're finding it like, oh, I just want to do it all, is you're going to have to hire people to help you to organize these other talents that you have. So, for example, if you think about someone like Rihanna, she doesn't just work on her own. She has a team of people helping her. So that's another way that you can actually launch into different things that you want to do. I definitely want to encourage you to, really make one thing a very, very big thing. And if you have other little things that you do, it's like, okay, those are just in the background, but this main thing is very important to me. So one of the things I do as my main thing is I actually focus on motivational speaking. And things like this, where I'm putting together workshops, I'm making all these Instagram videos and Snapchat videos where I'm just talking about success and motivation and how to achieve your dreams. And I just go on and on and on about it. I always post things that are encouraging and uplifting. So the media will know that, yep, she's into success, she's into helping people, she's into inspiring people, and she's into this pageant business. Everything else is like, okay, I've got a master's degree. It's all a bonus, but people will know that my main two areas is, this girl's a motivational speaker and she's a former beauty queen. And these two things are going to be seen as the golden things, business, and then the personal brand is the motivational speaker. So I want you to, really get that pen and paper, and also take like literally 30 seconds to think about, how are you an expert on something? What do you want to be known for? And if you want, you can type it in the chat box, or you can just literally, you could do me a favor and just write it down on a piece of paper so that you can really think about it. This is really important that we, use this time to get that breakthrough. Because once you know what you're called to do, you are going to shine like never before. You are not going to be hands in every pie. You're going to be like just running with it, and that's what's going to make the media notice you all the more. Wow, that's fantastic. You know what? I love the fact that you're putting your hand to talk a lot, like just going for it. And, I've just seen that Nebula has said that she wants to be known for flexibility and fitness. And I think that's just so amazing, because that is such a great talent, like a really great talent. And like you said, you want to be known for this. So, what I would say to you, I would encourage you in this way. I'm going to give you a couple of tips. Keep up with the Instagram videos. Keep up with, for example, YouTube, like something that they can see that you're very, very serious about this. And then another thing you could start doing at this early stage is you can start to comment on things that you see to do with fitness and health. So it could be fitness blogs, it could be, you might notice some fitness magazines on, these online Twitter accounts and stuff. You just need to start like interacting with them. Join a couple of Facebook groups that are to do with this topic. and just mingle with them, mingle with the media, just talk to them, you know, this, oh, great post, and retweet what they write, or respond to some of their posts and so on and so forth. Bit by bit, you'll be building up a relationship with the media, and what's going to happen next is they're going to actually start to check you out and be like, oh, what does she do? You know, this girl is always so lovely to us. Why don't we just like get in contact with her? And they might be thinking to themselves, she's got a great video. That video she just made was wonderful. You know what? Let's just put her into one of our, you know, let's feature her on the blog and just interview her. Just give her a bit of publicity, help the sister out. That's the way they see it. The media want to help people out. They want to help people to become rising stars. And so I really encourage you to just use that tip of mingling with the media, mingling with these producers or these editors and so on and so forth. These your favorite magazines, your favorite YouTubers and everything. Just leave them lovely comments and comment and tweet at them and so on and so forth. And I'm telling you, you'll see that somebody eventually will respond to you and say, hi, you know, I love what you do. Would you be interested in featuring on our blog? Would you be interested in coming on our TV show? Let's do something together. They might even say, let's partner up and do something. So that's my tips for you. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. She said, thank you. Woo! Brilliant, brilliant. Number 3 is to actively seek opportunities to feature on blogs, in magazines, newspapers, on TV shows, etc. This is exactly what I was just talking about a second ago. You know, do research and find out what magazines could you be in. Find out more about these magazines, the radio shows, the TV shows. You know, what I encourage you to do is to basically make a decision that this week you sit down at one point this week, put it in your diary, to sit down and write down 20 different magazines, blogs, TV shows, everything that matches up with what you want to do and the press and the publications that you want to have. So, for example, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to write some stuff in the chat box. You know, number 1, it could be that you want to be featured in Vogue, right? Number 2, it could be Cosmopolitan. Number 3, it could be The Voice. Number 4, it could be your local gazette. You know, I'm just giving you an example. And that's how it is. You just got to think to yourself, you do lots of research and think to yourself, okay, what do I want to be featured on? What do I want to be featured in? How could I contribute? And never ever rule out anything. Don't think you're too small to be in Cosmopolitan. Don't think that you could never be in OK Magazine, or don't think, oh, I could just not ever be able to attract an amazing opportunity to be on Fitness TV on Sky or something like that. You know, let me just go back to everything here with my coverage. Look at me in OK Magazine. This is OK Magazine. That was the cover there. This was the cover, and this was inside the magazine where I was in that magazine. And to be honest with you, that was my first pageant I ever competed in as Miss Central in the Miss Central London competition. I competed. I didn't win or anything, but look at me. I was in the magazine. So it just goes to show that this magazine here is such a big one in the UK. I mean, probably normally need to be a celebrity to be in this magazine, but it just goes to show that when you believe that you can be in the media and you put yourself out there, whether it's high-profile events or whether it's that you attend different workshops or events and meet the right people and read and do research on the media and understand what they're looking for, you become a magnet and you just end up being at the right places at the right times, and you start attracting that publicity that you thought was actually impossible. You know, this is me on ITV. I didn't ever think I could be on something like ITV. I mean, that's a very big channel to be on. I've been on ITV, ITV2, ITVB. I think it's called B or BE. I'm not sure. But it's spelled ITVBE, but it might be pronounced ITVB. So you might know more than me. You know, I didn't ever think I could be on ITV back in the day. I mean, come on, that's such a big channel to be on. But look, it's happened. By the way, they repeat my show. I mean, they repeated it probably at least 20 times. I mean, and it was on 2012 when I was on Dinner Day ITV, but they just seem to keep repeating it over and over and over and over. You know, I didn't ever think that I could be featured on the Philippe Matthews website here as Meet the Queen of Motivation from England, Queen Chairman Awogu. I mean, come on, that's like a big deal. Because this guy here, he's actually known as the online version of Oprah Winfrey in America. So it's a US feature. And at that time, I was just competing in my first pageant or my first few pageants, I wasn't really necessarily even a winner at that point. I didn't even win all the crowns and titles at that point. So I was able to attract the media even when I was up and coming. So I wanted to encourage you to be confident, to be a rising star in the media. You can actually feature in the media as a rising star. You don't have to necessarily be, you don't have to have made it. You can be up and coming twice a week. You can do it once a month. You can do it every 2 weeks. But pitching to the media is also a way that you can actually increase chances of being in the media. You know, that these magazines and the newspapers, the TV shows, they are always looking to interview people, whether it's a rising star or whether it's this big superstar like Mariah Carey. They want to feature people. They want to talk about you. They want to talk about your story, your life, your inspirational activities that you get up to. They want you to inspire their audience. They want to know, what can you bring to the table? How can you be on our show and make our audience fall in love with you? How can you feed our audience? They are hungry. So if you can be the one to contribute and send that press release, send the press pack every 2 to 3 months, believe me, you will find that eventually somebody will contact you. I'm going to give you an example now of how it took me. There was a time where I was contacted by somebody in the media. And basically, I had contacted this lady to try and feature in this magazine. It was an African magazine. Oh, this is another magazine I was in. I forgot about this one. But I was in this big magazine, and basically it was a magazine that goes into the library once a year. A very big magazine. I might have to dig through my emails to find the information, just so that I can go into the library and actually go and look at that magazine, because it's actually one that only comes out once a year, which is a very big thing. So she said to me, look, she called me up and she said to me, I'm the editor of this magazine, and I want to feature you in this magazine, but I want you to tell me a bit about yourself. I started to talk about the pageants. I started to talk about motivational speaking. I started talking about youth empowerment. I started to talk about all these different things. And she said to me, okay, stop right there. I don't want to hear anything about the pageant. No, I don't want to know. Not interested. But I do want to hear about this thing that you talk about in terms of motivating the youth. Yes, keep going. So I kept talking and giving her information about, yep, I love inspiring youths, and I had my degree, and at first I didn't really do well in my degree, and then eventually I got my degree, and then I ended up going back and doing a master's. And she was like, yes, this is what we want to feature. We want to feature you based on this. But the thing I want to let you know is, before this happened, I did not actually contact the lady on that day or that week. I contacted her months before, sent her an email, and she came back to me when she wanted me in that magazine, when she wanted my story, when she had space for this article, when she felt it was a good time. Because maybe they were busy before, maybe they had something better, maybe they didn't have space or room, because usually they plan ahead. They plan 1 month ahead, it could be 2 months ahead, it could be 6 months ahead. They may have people, maybe somebody cancelled and they couldn't do a feature, so she chose me. Or maybe she had been just waiting for me so that she could put me in this specific, maybe there was a certain theme going on that month. So I want to say to you, don't be discouraged if you send out your press pack or your press release and you don't hear anything. Just follow up with another email, another phone call. You can also visit them in the flesh. Don't be afraid to turn up to ITV and say, hi, would you be interested in... I would love to, give you my press pack. Or I'd love to send you my demo. This is my demo here. I just wanted to bring it in the flesh. They love things like that. They may even tell you to, kind of go away and post it, but you can say, hi, you could email them and say, hi, I visited ITV today. I came in the flesh, but I was told by your colleague on the reception desk to send you everything that I wanted to send you by post. But for the very fact that they've heard that you've visited, they're going to think this person is a serious person. They will go out of their way to try and make something happen. How many emails do people send? Everybody sends an email. When you go out of your way and follow up with phone calls, and even what I would say to you as well is you can just send out a letter once in a while. So it's not like you're bothering them. You're not like bugging them every minute. But you can, send an email. You follow up with another email. If they don't get back to you, you could follow up again, maybe 2 weeks later, maybe 2 months later, and just keep it going like that. Okay, so number 4 is all about creating a buzz on social media. This is a very, very important way to break into the media, using social media, leveraging social media. And it's basically not something to be taken for granted. You know, you can really take this platform that you've been given, social media, and you can make it so powerful, wonderful, and amazing. I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. Number one, I want you to start with quality posts. So, you know, I want you to integrate things like your blog. If you don't have a blog, I want to encourage you to start blogging. I don't know anyone that blogs or has blogged and has not become successful. Even if you don't make any money for a long time, you will eventually become successful. You will make money one day. You will crack the code. I'm telling you that now. I don't know anyone that's a blogger that has not had publicity or has not ended up being a six-figure businesswoman or seven-figure businesswoman. They start with blogging, and by the time they know it, they're rich. They start with blogging, by the time they know it, they have a handful of clients. They start blogging, by the time they know it, they're on television. They start blogging. Think about even Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is blogging right now, and she was blogging all those times when she was filming all those shows, when she was doing all of that. She was blogging. You know, I remember seeing her post, and look at her today. She's tripled her success. And back then, she wasn't even as famous as she is now, but she was blogging back then when she only had, like, you know, a much smaller amount of followers on social media, and she would post things like literally nearly every day. Outfit of the day. We went to, you know, New York Fashion Week or whatever she'll say. She'll just post these random posts. So I want to encourage you to blog as number one, and then you just post it on social media, on your Twitter, on your Instagram, on your Facebook. You know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, twice a month. Whatever feels good to you, I want to encourage you to do this. You could also start your own podcast show where you just, you know, every week you give advice or you interview key people. This is also another way to build a buzz on social media. This is a great way for you to attract the press releases that you're trying to attract, because one good turn deserves another. If you go and interview somebody from, let's say, a very big magazine, and you put them on your podcast show, they may want to do the same thing for you. They may want to return the favor and put you on their podcast show. Or they might want to allow you to be in their magazine. Or they may just feel that you're somebody powerful and big. Like, all of a sudden, you have gone from being just a normal person on social media to being this podcast host. And they're going to be like, wow, we want to be on her show. So, start small, and then just build from there, and by the time you know, it will just get bigger and bigger. Another thing you want to do is videos. You know, I really encourage you to do videos. And, you know, you don't have to do all of these things. Do what feels good to you, but I'm just giving you ideas of what you could do. But I do believe having at least 1 or 2 videos where people can see who you are is very fundamental for your success if you want to break into the media. Because usually they don't really tend to feature people that they can't really see, especially if you're trying to, if you're just somebody that's online, you don't have a website and things like that, they might be like, oh, who is this? This could be a fake account for all we know. So they want to know who you are, and usually videos create this trust, like, and know factor, or like, trust, and know, however you want to say. It makes them feel like they know you, they trust you, and they like you. And then the media, they suss you out and figure out, like, okay, is she right for our show? Is he right for our show? Is he right for the magazine? No, not really. Yes, actually, they are very right. We like what they say. We like the way they behave. That's why videos are very, very good, because it shows off your personality and your charisma, and that really helps to move into the media. So, high quality photos. You know, it's really good to use your iPhone and your iPad, but eventually you need to really step it up to using high quality photos for your Instagram, your Facebook. You want to just start uploading things that really make you stand out and shows you in a light that people have never seen before. So this could be going for some photo shoots. It could be that you decide you're going to, you know, really take everything you do to a higher level. You're going to be more creative with your photos in terms of imagining what you're going to do before you do it. You're more selective of what you're associated with. Don't just take random photos that are just dodgy and weird. And, you know, don't take photos of you just like drunk in the park, lying down with your bum out. You know, don't be more strategic with your posts, because the media don't want to be associated with negativity or with people that are just not stable. They want to be, even someone like Justin Bieber, as famous as he is, he gets a bad rap every time he does something wrong in the media. So it does affect the brand. It affects your brand if you do really bad things that really show you to be very immature or silly and so on and so forth. That's why your photos are something that they will definitely check out. And if they see amazing images and a consistency of you acting mature on social media, they're more likely to feature you. But they don't want to see somebody that's completely wild. The next thing I want to say to you as an idea is to do wonderful things for charity. One of the ways to get the media's attention, your fans, your followers' attention, is to do something for media. It could be raising money for charity through your company. It could be something like a cake sale. It could be that you organize this charity walk with your whole neighborhood. Are going to go for this, 10K walk, and it's all organized by you and everything like that. So think about some things that you could do. You can participate in a London Marathon or something like that. You could decide that you're going to do a water fight for, like a fun day, a water fight for children or something. Or just think of some fun ideas, visiting ideas. I want you to take a challenge to do one of these ideas between now and basically this year. Within the next 3 to 6 months, I want you to have completed a very good charity mission, because that's going to boost your brand like never before. My business, UK's Dazzling Beauty, is literally dedicated to doing great things for charity. That's one of the things that we do. We do a lot of work for charity, and this is one of the reasons why Richard Branson is so famous and successful, because of the fact that he does a lot for charity. So I want to encourage you to do the same thing. So another area that I want to talk about is, I want to talk about the area of your interview skills, basically practicing your interview skills. You might think, well, what's this got to do with what's this got to do with the media? How is this going to help me to get that TV interview, that modeling opportunity, or that judging opportunity, or be the host of that next show? Okay, the thing is, you've got to realize that sooner or later, one day, you will be contacted by the media. If you keep growing on social media, if you keep learning about the media, if you attend those events that you will, that's another thing I want to talk about, is events, but we're going to save that for later. But if you start doing all these different things, like I've been saying, if you start implementing these 5 different tips and steps, you're going to receive responses. You're going to receive the phone calls, the emails. I think about, for example, the fact that one day, a long, long time ago, I put on my website, I'm a coach, I have all these, you can book me for this, and my cost is this, and so on and so forth. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just like, well, I want clients, so, put the information on the website. And I think it was like £35 an hour. And at that time, I was working for Ben TV. I got a TV presenting job. And some of the prices I put on my website were really expensive as well, but I couldn't even really justify why they were so expensive. It was just like, okay, yep, my package is £500 or whatever. And that was like basically a time where I was a lot younger. So, and I didn't really know why it was that price. It wasn't like I had a list of reasons as to why or what you'll be getting out the package. It was more like, okay, for 5 hours it's this, and for 10 hours it's this, and so on and so forth. But I didn't really realize that one day somebody would actually contact me and try and book me. So back in the day, somebody actually reached out to me, and they called me, left me a voicemail. I called them back, and they said, "Hi, yes, I've seen your website. I love what you do. I would like to book you for coaching." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh! I thought this was just, I thought it was just a website. I didn't know that anyone was really going to contact me, And so, take everything you do as serious. Take it like, wow, if I start working on these tips, I could actually start getting real phone calls and responses, and I may be invited to go for an interview. So get ready from now. Prepare for upcoming interviews. Start writing your guest posts in advance. Start to prepare for the opportunities that are going to come, because this is how you break into the media, by believing that it's going to happen and preparing for it. One of the things that I do and have done is I prepare a lot for I pretend that I'm going to speak at these big events. For example, I would be in the kitchen and pretending that, I'm speaking in front of, 200 women or whatever it may be, and I would just practice. And the reason why I do things like that from time to time, I don't do it all the time, but once in a while I'll just, pretend that I'm speaking to this big audience. It's because I am preparing myself to speak in front of big audiences. And it's actually happened. I've spoke at events where there have been like 3,000 people, and there have been 200 people, and so on and so forth. I performed in front of hundreds of people. even thousands of people. I performed at a conference gala night, or whether it be on a boat party, or whether it's a wedding event. But before it was all a dream. It was all like, I wish, I wish, I wish, but then it actually started to happen. So, get comfortable with being in front of the camera. Practice, practice, practice. Practice when nobody's there so that you'll be prepared when people really are there. Now, the thing about the media I want to say to you is you do need to demonstrate confidence and charisma on camera, because being nervous and shy on camera is not cute. Okay, people, this is not a myth, this one. If people say that, it's not good to be shy or nervous on camera or whatever, that is true. The media are very ruthless. They want confident people on their stage. They want confident people on their panel. They want confident people that can rock the show. They want you to perform like a star. They don't want you to come there and say, I am nervous and I don't know what to do. They want you to know what to do. They want you to perform like a pro. The way Christina Aguilera will go on the stage and sing her heart out, that's what they're expecting from you when you write that blog post. That's what they're expecting from you when you perform, when you speak, when you host their show. They don't want you to come along there and start, just not being sure of what you're doing and acting really inconfident. They don't want that. So that's why you practice, you practice, you practice, you practice. Practice your body language, practice your poses, practice your smile. Get prepared, practice your charisma, your jokes, all of these things. Get prepared in that way. Some ideas of the types of things you want to do. If you're a singer, practice your singing so that when you go on stage and you perform in front of the media and the audience, you are absolutely amazing, right? If you're a speaker, practice your speaking skills. If you're like a presenter or something, you really want to be practicing all of those things. If you are an athlete or you are somebody that deals with fitness and training and so on and so forth, make sure your moves down, make sure that you're really good at training your clients, make sure you have client testimonials, make sure you have some proof in the pudding in terms of video to prove that you really are working with people, and so on and so forth. If you are somebody that works in the food industry and you want to have a TV show all about food, I want to encourage you to do the same thing in the food industry. What does this mean? It means that you put together videos of you cooking in the kitchen. You upload them onto YouTube. You make cakes on YouTube. You do those types of things because that's going to lead to bigger and better opportunities. Show off your work so that they don't have to wonder, who is this person when you try to send them your ideas to be in their magazine. Think before you speak as well. Like I said before, if you don't know what to say when you're being interviewed, you can always say, I would love to answer that question right now, but, we'll be here all day. So I would love to, leave that one for another time, or I would love to, maybe we could discuss that one after the show. You could also, like I said, you can say to them, I would love to answer that question, but maybe somebody in the audience would like to answer that one. Or maybe you could even turn it back to them and say, would you like to answer that question? Because I think you have a very good answer. You've got to have a bit of banter to you, and also sometimes you need to give as good as you get. If you go into something like a show where they're being very critical and they're very hard, so it could be like the news or some kind of political programs or something like that. You're going to have to be able to as good as you get. Now, I'm going to give you an example of somebody that's like that. If you think about somebody like that lady, what's her name again? That Katie. Oh, Katie Hopkins. If you think about somebody like that, she gives as good as she gets. I don't really necessarily think that she's well liked by the British culture and British population. She says a lot of things that people don't like. But the truth is, some of the things that she says is proving that she's good at the quick reaction, the quick wit that is needed when you're in the media. You need to be very quick and very witty and have good responses that really get people or kind of give as good as you get. So, I don't necessarily think that I agree with the things that she says and so on and so forth. But, obviously there are some things that she does are, quite okay and everything in terms of maybe she has a few points here and there. But I don't necessarily agree with her way of dealing with things. I don't live like that in terms of, I don't say these types of things. But, like I said, you can still learn how to be headstrong in the media. You have to be headstrong in the media. You do need to have thick skin. So I want to encourage you to do that. Now, somebody else that's quite good with their speeches that I want to give you to look at is, I want you to think about somebody like Barack Obama. He's very good at presenting. If you think about how he handled the campaigners whenever he used to have his his campaigns, he used to handle them very well. People that were against him, he used to say things like, "Hey, I've heard you out. Now hear me out." He would look for ways to bring peace in the audience. Whereas Donald Trump, he's the opposite. He's sort of like, everybody, he kind of stirs the pot. So I want to encourage you to look for ways to bring peace and to make people that hate you love you. Be the Michael Jackson, the kind of person that, Michael Jackson, when he was, in the media in those days, he was seen as somebody that everybody fell in love with because his music was heal the world and save the children and things like that. And his message was all about peace and positivity. You don't have to always be somebody like Michael Jackson that's always about peace and goodness and love and all these wonderful things. You can also be the kind of person that is the headstrong, the hard businesswoman or whatever it is. You choose who you want to be and how you want to be, but be consistent. And also remember that whatever you do is going to either bite you in the bum or it's going to take you to that next level. So really think it through, because most of the time, whatever you put into the media, you can't take it back. Your interviews, if you suck at your interview, you cannot take it back. Once it's out there, it's on their show, on YouTube or on television, and it's forever documented. So, for example, I was on ITV, and that's repeated about 20 times or even more than that since 2012. Up to this year, they're still repeating my show. That just goes to show that you think you've done something years ago, but that's in perspective, because they can keep repeating that show over and over and over, and it's basically like your past coming back to haunt you if you don't like the thing that you've done. I did like Dinner Date. I think it was really fun. Some people felt like, no, you shouldn't have done that show, but at the end of the day, to me, it was like a very fun show to do, because it gave me a lot of what's the word, publicity. But at the same time, people might think, well, you're a motivational speaker, should you really go on a dating show? So you've got to really think it through. Do I really want to go on that chat show? Do I really want to go on something that doesn't associate with my brand or whatever it is that you're doing? You've got to really think it through, because like I said, it all does help or hurt. And I want to go back to that quote again, that success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. If you want to break into the media and you want to do all these amazing things, you've got to be able to attract it by being an attractive person. That's by Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was at a point in his life where he wasn't attracting money. This is what his problem was back then. He didn't have much money. The bill collectors were calling him. He couldn't pay his bills on time. He had no money. He didn't have much money in the bank, and so on and so forth. And guess what? His mentor said to him, he said all those things to him. He said, look, you have no money, the bill collectors are calling you, blah, blah, blah. Basically, what are you going to do? What's kind of going on? And he was like, that's all they pay me. This is all they pay me. And I think he showed a check, and he was like, this is all they pay me. And his mentor said, no, that's all they pay you. Or he said, that's all they pay in this place or whatever. He was like, no, that's how much they pay you. And he was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, don't they pay other people more money? Don't you have any CEOs or managers that earn more than you? And he was like, yeah, I do. So basically, he realized that he needed to become a new person. He needed to change his ways. He said that if you basically go to work on yourself, work on yourself more than you do your job, that's where the change comes. That's where the breakthrough comes. That's where the transformation comes. Basically, he talks about the fact that if you get an education, you can make a living. But if you invest in self-education, you can make a fortune. If you invest in you, you can make a fortune. But just the normal education that we do in terms of, going to university, doing college, all of that, that can still make you money. You can make a living with that and everything. But when you invest in yourself and work harder on yourself than you do your job, that's when you become an invaluable person. One day he got a phone call and they wanted him to speak somewhere, and I think they said they're going to pay him £1 million. Would he be able to do it? he said, oh, yeah, looks like I can. Oh, yep, my calendar's free that day. And he got, he was going to be paid £1 million. Now, he basically was talking about it in this conference that he was hosting, this seminar he was speaking at. And he was saying, what happened? Before he had no money to even pay his bills, and now he's being offered to speak somewhere, and he's going to be paid like £1 million, or I think it was something like £100,000 or something. But it's like, who did he have to be? Who did he become to now be worth £1 million per speech? Now, I would ask you the same question. Who do you need to become to be the person that Vogue is knocking on your door? They're ringing you up and saying, can you be on the cover of Vogue this month? Is that possible? Who do you need to become to get that phone call from the Daily Telegraph saying, could you please write a two-page spread for us? Can you be our new writer for this section or whatever? Every month we need you to write for us. Who do you need to become to be on fitness TV? Who do you need to become to attract 20 TV interviews within a space of 3 months? The question I want to ask you is, what are you willing to do to make a change? To really, really start getting this press and this amazing opportunities that you can get. And do you really know what you can get as a result of all of this? Like I said to you before, you can get more clients. You can basically attract opportunities to judge. It could even be traveling opportunities. Like one of my friends has just got this major promotion. And now this friend is going to be traveling to literally over 100 events to speak and so on and so forth. And that is just because of the job they've just got, a very high profile job. And that's just an example of what happens when you become a person that's now on another level. So, let me just do a little bit of a recap for you, or just to bust a few more myths. You can break into the media for reasons such as you have a talent, you have a mission, you are carrying out a challenge, like I said, some charity thing, you have amazing products or services. So basically, you can promote your talent in the media. You can promote your mission. Your mission might be to attract 1,000 clients by the end of 2017. We're on a mission. UK Stands in Beauty, My Passion. We're on a mission to transform we're on a mission to have 85 girls and women to be reigning queens in our pageant this year. That's our mission. The media can help us achieve that mission if we get ourselves into the media. You could want to carry a challenge, and you need the media's help to promote you, and that promotion turns to money. You could have these amazing products and services, and they could be just sitting there rusting, but you could get them into the media, and all of a sudden you go from having no money in the bank to being a multimillionaire. You can actually make an impact, being a role model for women, or helping women that have been abused, or maybe you want to help young teenage kids or something like that. And the media can give you that platform to do it. They can put you in a good light and give you opportunities that you've never had. Maybe you want to see change in society, and you will never feel at rest until you see these changes. And you know that you need the media to expose you, to let everybody know that you exist and you want to make a change. And you could use the media to do this. You could want to inspire people. So maybe you want people to be inspired by your messages as a preacher, or as a speaker, or as a leader, or as some kind of thinker, a thought leader or something like that. Maybe you want to be a theorist one day, and you want to be known as the next Durkheim or the next Shakespeare that's, a poet or something like that. Maybe you want to be known in those amazing ways. Don't think that the great names are only for those great people of those days. You can be known as somebody like Tony Robbins or Brian Tracy, or maybe you want to be able to do what Justin Bieber does, which is travel around the world. Like, they want him in their stadiums. They want him everywhere. He sells out big events. He fills stadiums. Okay, so if he can do that, you can surely get onto television. You can surely be the face of a brand or whatever it is that you want to do. So I have a way that you can do this. Because you might be thinking, oh my God, how can I make this happen? Number one, I have two options for you. Number one, I have this special media workshop, a bit like this, but it's actually where I give you 17 ways to break into the media and how to gain publicity for yourself or for your business. This is where I go like in depth, like where there are so many slides and so many ideas, and I go really, really, really into the deep stuff in terms of, you know, how to get the magazine features, how to get the press releases, and I go into each area. So I go through different areas like the TV interviews, how to get them, what to say, and then we go into radio, then we go into magazines and newspapers. So I really go in depth in each area, and basically it's like this type of workshop, but 10 times more in depth, and also 10 times more, you know, in terms of the slides and more information, everything like that. And I share lots of my secrets because, you know, I remember Marie Forleo saying that the best things online may be good, but they're not necessarily, you know, the best things online are not necessarily the best in terms of, you think about what you can get when it's paid. Because the truth is, sometimes when we don't pay for things, we don't actually do the work, or we don't bother to even notice because we just think, oh, who cares? I'm not. But when you know you paid for something, you get that work done. You get it done because you know that money's gone into it. A bit like your bottle of water. If you have water from the tap, sometimes you don't even bother drinking the water from the tap. But once you buy that bottle of water, man, you're going to drink it because you spent money on it. So the 14th of April is when my workshop is coming up, and I would love to invite you to that. Or what you could do is you could book me for a free media breakthrough session for 30 minutes, or a success one for free for 30 minutes. And if you want to learn how you can work with me a little bit more than that, you can visit my website, which is www.queenshamaofficial.com. But what I want to encourage you to do is just to book that free media breakthrough session by going to my page that says apply and just fill out the details. And also look out for the VIP media workshop, which I'll be posting to Facebook, to Instagram, to my Twitter and everything like that. And it will also be on my website and everything like that. So look out for all the details, and thank you for being here. And if you have any questions, please do let me know, because I'm going to wrap this up right now. And I want to say thank you so much for being here. You've been so patient and wonderful. Oh, wonderful. I've heard, no, it has been a wonderful webinar. That is so good. I have learned a lot. Woo! Yeah, that's such, thank you for the lovely compliment. And I'm really, really grateful that you are here and that you have enjoyed this. And basically, as I said before, how I'm here to help you is, you know, motivation, inspiration, success strategies, media, and PR secrets. And that obviously you can get by coming to my next workshop. And if you don't want to come to my next workshop, by the way, you can just keep attending these free webinars that I do, or just check out my stuff on YouTube. I'll be continuing to make more videos. So I want to say thank you for watching my latest video, because basically when people watch the replay, it will be a video. So I'm saying video. And yeah, and that's it basically. Thank you so much for being on this webinar, and I really want to say thank you. God bless you. I will use your advices consistently, and thank you. Woo! Yes, I'm so glad you're going to use my advice consistently. That is really, really, really good. I'm going to be sending out some bonuses, so make sure you check your email, because a bonus workbook to download, and I'm going to send you some more things that you can do, such as, for example, a list of all the places that you could go to lift your profile and your brand and your business. So basically events that are more high profile that you can think of going to, because these types of events can lift your brand and your profile. So thank you, and take care. Bye.